Hello, everybody.
Okay, Mr. Anderson is scheduled today for a preliminary examination. I do have a plea sheet. It says the defendant is being offered a no contest plea, correct?
Correct.
Entry without permission, dismissed for meaning upon successful plea. Is that accurate?
That's correct, Your Honor. It is.
What is the purpose of the no contest plea?
Civil liability, Judge.
What is the basis of the civil liability?
Because he's alleged to have entered into the apartment. Just want to make sure that there's no allegations of things being stolen and things like that.
Are there allegations of things being stolen?
No, Your Honor.
And I'm not accepting a no contest. That's the case. We can always, everyone can take a no contest plea from now into infinity for potential things that are not even placed into the record. That I don't have a sufficient basis. It's either that we can plead to the charge or we can run his exam.
Do you want to run it or do you want to plead?
You can have a moment to talk to him outside.
He says he'll plead.
Do you want more time to talk to your attorney? Is that a yes or no?
Tell her she's asking you.
Do you want to talk to her more? I'll plead guilty. Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're going to give is the truth and the whole truth under the penalty of perjury? You got to use words.
Yes.
Okay, put your hand down. I have an advice of rights and plea information sheet. It's 2 pages. There's a signature page here. Did you go over this document with your attorney? Sir?
Yes, please.
Okay. Is that your signature?
Yes.
Okay. You understand all the rights that's listed here?
Yeah.
And you're willing to give each of these rights up in order to plead guilty to the charge of entry without permission?
Yeah.
Okay, so you have the right to the presumption that you are innocent. So as you stand there, sir, you're innocent until proven guilty, and it's your right to maintain your innocence and require that they prove that you're guilty by first proving each element of the charge being brought against you beyond a reasonable doubt. You understand that? You want to give your right to the presumption of innocence up? Okay, well then let's move forward. You don't have to waive your rights if you don't want to. And you shouldn't waive your rights just to get this over with. You understand that? Are you ready to run an exam?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, we'll go off the record real quick while she counsels her client a little further. And then I'll call the case in just a moment. Mr. Etheridge. Are you ready to run an exam?
He would like to plead guilty, Judge.
Okay, back on the record, in the matter of Davin Anderson, and you do now want to accept the plea offer and plead guilty?
Yes.
Okay, so you understand your right to be innocent until proven guilty, and you want to waive that right and waive the right to require them to prove your guilt? Can you say that?
Yes.
Okay. Is anyone threatening you to do that?
No.
Okay, any promises if you give up that right?
No.
You understand that by giving up that right, it also means that you're going to give up your right to remain silent at any trial and not have silence be used against you. You're going to give up your right to see, hear, or question any witness that they intended to call to testify against you. You're going to give up your right to call your own witnesses or present evidence at trial that you believe show a defense to this charge, and your right to waive your silence and testify at your trial if you'd like. You understand that?
Yes.
And are you currently on probation or on parole?
No.
Okay, you understand that a guilty plea could result in conviction that you may need to report to your current employer, or you need to put this conviction on a future job application. You also could have an impact on where you can travel or get immigration status. So you may want to go outside of the country on vacation somewhere, and they may consider this type of conviction, something that won't allow you to enter their country. You understand that? As to the amended charge of entry without permission, how do you plead?
Guilty.
Is that because you believe you are guilty?
Yes.
Factual basis.
Your Honor, I think that I accidentally gave you the police report. So I have that back.
Okay.
Thank you. Mr. Anderson, on April 8th, 2025, were you in the area of Lansing, Michigan, County of Ingham, State of Michigan?
Yes.
And did you come into contact with Jeremy Johnson?
Yeah.
And at that time, he had physical keys to the apartment. And that was his apartment, correct?
Yes.
And you entered into his apartment and you did not have permission to enter into his apartment, correct?
Correct.
I missed something. He was with who?
The victim in the case, Jeremy Johnson.
While you were with him, he knew. I'm confused. Is that a friend of yours?
Yes.
You all were together
Yeah.
and you went to his house?
Yeah. I was in.
You said you were staying there?
Yeah.
How long have you been staying there?
For about a month because though. Yeah.
Well, I don't need to know why. You have been living there for a month?
Me, because I got my own apartment downstairs.
So you say you have been staying there, staying where? And
My girlfriend was staying
your girlfriend was staying where?
at his house.
Okay. So I'm confused. Did you enter the apartment with him?
No, Your Honor, he's stating that the victim stated that he no longer gave Mr. Anderson permission to go into the apartment. But he still continued to go into the apartment.
He told you couldn't enter the apartment? I can't hear a head nod.
No.
No, you don't have to say nothing that's not the truth.
Well, I'm not advising.
Oh, okay.
I'm just letting him know that you admit that you don't have permission.
Yeah, I actually got permission.
So you originally had permission, but he said
He revoked the permission? Did he ever? You?
you could.
Look, I'm asking the questions now. You were entering this house regularly prior to this date? Is that a yes?
Yes.
Okay. And your girlfriend was living there, you said?
Yes.
Okay. And the owner, the person who possesses the home, what's his name again? Jeremy? Jeremy told you couldn't come into his house anymore?
No, he did not. I had the house key.
You entered with the house key?
Yeah.
Did he ask for his house keys back?
No.
Fails. The plea fails.
Yeah.
Jeremy's here?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, well then we can have an exam. Okay.
No. All right. He said I couldn't enter.
When did he tell you that?
He didn't say it.
He did?
Yeah.
Why did you just finish telling me that he didn't? Did he say he didn't say that?
I just want because I don't.
Because what? Because one of the two was a lie. And I had you swear to tell the truth under the penalty of perjury. So if you just lied under the oath,
No, I did not.
then that means that you're subject to the penalty of perjury.
No, I did not lie. I had the house key. He gave me house keys.
Okay. Did he revoke your ability to come into his home? Okay, well then you're gonna have an exam. As you should. If what you're saying is the truth, then that's what you should do.
No, because I mean, I really don't. I just don't want to go to jail right now.
Who said you were going to jail right now? You're innocent. You don't send innocent people in jail. They have to prove you guilty. And even if they proved you guilty to entry without permission, there must be some special circumstances before I put you in jail for entry without permission. Maybe probation, but jail. It depends on the circumstances. But if what you're saying on this record under oath, under the penalty of perjury is the truth, they would have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that what you're saying is not the truth. And at this point, I'm not in a position I can't accept your plea because it's apparent to me, the only reason why you're trying to plea is to get it over with so that you don't go to jail because that's your belief. And not because you're pleading, because you believe you are guilty. That is why I asked that question. You can't enter a plea just to get something over with. It has to be the truth under the penalty of perjury. You understand that? That's in your best interest. That's your right. Let me finish this argument and then we'll call witnesses. Okay, on the record, in the matter of the city of Lansing, state of Michigan. Let me switch my brain back over. The record of state of Michigan versus Davin Anderson 25-01067 appearance, please.
Good morning, Your Honor. Haley Fortuna Gill on behalf of the people.
Aaron Robinson, Assistant Public Defender for Mr. Anderson.
Okay, Mr. Anderson was scheduled for preliminary examination today. Are we ready to call in witnesses?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor. I did just want to make the court aware that the people do intend on adding a count of unarmed robbery.
Okay, if the elements support that, then we'll deal with your motion at that time.
Got it. Thank you, Your Honor.
We would ask for the rule, Your Honor, as well to be invoked.
You ask for what?
The rule to be invoked of sequestration.
Sequestration is granted. You can call your witnesses.
The people will call Jeremy Johnson.
I don't know what that. Well, you need to confirm that right now.
I am.
Okay. I don't think they're taking you from jail. Fingerprints. When people need fingerprints. Yeah. I don't know. Well, how come we don't have his fingerprints? I mean,
The clerk's office has them, when they get them, sometimes they don't put them in the system.
so you think they're in there?
I'm sorry.
You think the clerk's office has them?
I'm gonna check with Marquita and see if they received them yet.
You can have a seat, sir.
Here's this chair.
Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're going to give us the truth and the whole truth under the penalty of perjury?
Yes.
Okay, you can have a seat. There's a microphone that's right in front of you. The microphone is so that the court reporter, which is the lady sitting behind you, can take down everything that's being stated in the courtroom. It will not amplify your voice. You need to keep your voice loud and clear, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Also, if there's an objection, you will stop speaking immediately. I will make a ruling on the objection and I'll tell you if you can give us that answer or not. You're not allowed to answer questions with mm-hs, uh-hs, or head nods, head shakes, because we cannot understand that on the record. So it needs to be audibly articulated, okay?
Yes.
State your first and last name and spell both.
Jeremy Johnson,
Spell both.
Jeremy Johnson, JOHNSON.
You can proceed, counsel.
Mr. Johnson, where do you live? Can you repeat that, please? Okay. And what apartment?
433.
And is that in the city of Lansing?
Yes, ma'am.
Is it in the county of Ingham?
Yes.
Where are you staying right now?
Right now, I'm not staying at the house. I'm staying somewhere else.
Okay, and can you tell me why you're not staying at your apartment?
Just scared to.
You're scared to? Okay. Do you recall the date of April 8th, 2025? That was a yes.
Yes.
And why do you recall that date? Did something significant happen?
Yes.
Okay. Can you tell me a bit about that?
I was told to basically get out of my apartment. I'll come back for a couple months.
And who told you that?
Right there, the guy right there.
Okay. Can you please point to the defendant and describe an article of clothing?
Black shirt.
Okay, thank you. Your Honor, at this time, I would like the record to reflect that the witness has identified the defendant.
Any objection?
No objection.
So noted.
Thank you. Okay, so that day, let's go back to April 8th, 2025. What were the interactions between you and the defendant that day?
What do you mean? He kicked me out of my apartment.
And how?
He told me to leave, and if I didn't leave, and then someone put me in a coma and dumped me and put me in a coma. And if I called the cops, it's him. That's what he said.
Okay, and did you just leave the apartment and then he entered? Did you have to give him keys? How did that work?
I gave him the keys back after I took them
Okay,
back
and what prompted you to give those keys?
because I was scared.
You were scared?
Yeah.
Okay, and what made you scared?
Because I owed him money.
Okay. Okay, and did he threaten you?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you give him the keys because he threatened you?
Yes.
Okay. Did you want to give
No.
him the keys?
No.
Okay. Did he have permission to go into your apartment at all?
Yes.
When?
At one point in time.
But not on April 8th, 2025?
No.
Okay. So there was no permission for him to enter the apartment
No.
on April 8th, 2025. Okay. And do you know, does the defendant have an apartment in that complex? Why was the defendant there? Do you know?
He lives in that building.
He lives in that building as
Yeah.
well. Okay. So at one point he did have permission to be in your apartment.
Yeah.
On the date in question, he did not.
Yeah, he kicked me out of my own apartment and told me that I owe him money and that I wasn't to come back to my apartment. And if I did, he would kill me if I called the police. That's what he said.
Okay.
Or him and his son will put me in a coma. That's what he told me.
He said he and who?
Him and his son
Okay.
will jump me and put me in a coma.
So that's why you gave him the keys?
No, that's not why I gave the keys.
So why'd you give him the keys?
Because I owed him money
Okay.
and I was scared when he asked the keys back.
Okay. I think I understand the confusion. So are there two sets of keys?
No.
There's one set of keys.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you want to give him those keys?
No, I did not, honestly.
Okay. So then why did you?
I was scared.
You were scared. Okay. So the keys were the keys taken from you? Or did you hand over the keys after because
I
you were
handed over
scared?
the keys.
Okay. And were you scared for any other reason? Or any other reason, or is it the threat?
That's why I was
That you
scared.
are-
I like that. So I was scared.
Okay. No further questions at this time.
Cross-examination.
All right, Mr. Johnson. You stated before that at one point in time, Mr. Anderson had permission to enter your apartment, correct?
Yes.
And when was that?
That was a couple of nights before, a few days before, actually.
And what sort of arrangement did you guys have?
So that again.
What sort of arrangement did you have? Like, why was he allowed to enter your apartment?
Because I owed him.
Excuse me?
I owed him money.
Okay, so was there an arrangement between you two?
No.
Like,
Wasn't a certain time or nothing like that, no.
so a few days before April 8th is when you gave him permission to enter your apartment?
When you say arrangement, are you talking about arrangement to enter the property or arrangement to pay the money back? Because I'm not clear.
An arrangement to enter the property.
Okay. And you said because you owed him money, you let him enter the property?
Yes, to talk, yes.
You said what? To
Yeah.
talk?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so when you gave him permission to enter the property a few days before April 8th, what was the nature of you giving him permission? Like, why was he coming over?
Because I owe him money.
I understand that there was a prior sort of somebody owed you money, but what I'm asking is like, why did he come into your residence? Like, was there an agreement that he would be allowed to stay there with you because he owed you money?
No.
Okay, so then why was he coming into your residence if he just owed you money?
Because I was scared, like I said.
But so I'm talking about the few days before April 8th.
Yeah.
When you gave him permission to enter your apartment.
Yeah, just come and hang out.
So you were hanging out.
Yeah.
Okay. And how long have you known Mr. Anderson?
For a couple months.
And did you ever give Mr. Anderson the key to your apartment
Yes.
prior to the April 8th incident?
Yes.
When was that?
I'm not sure. 2 days before that. That was just for a couple days while I was gone.
Okay, so you just stated that he was allowed to come over because you guys were hanging out, but then was he allowed to be in your place while you were gone as well?
For that, the first time, yeah, we're not at that particular moment, though.
So we're still talking about the few days prior to April 8th. He was staying at your apartment and you were not there, correct?
Yeah, for a couple days, yes.
And this was an agreement the two of you made because you owed him money?
Yeah.
When he was allowed to enter your apartment, was anybody there with him?
There was some lady there.
You said some lady there?
Yeah, it was him.
Did you know who that person was?
Not really.
So on the date of this incident, did you tell him he could no longer stay at your apartment?
Yeah, once he told me when he kicked me out, he kicked me out of my fucking apartment.
So he kicked.
I was in fear for my life. That's why I left my own apartment, because I was scared for my life.
I understand what your previous testimony is, but my question is that on the 8th, is that when you came back
Yes,
to your apartment?
Yes, he was sleeping. I took my key from the key fob to try and get him to leave on the 8th, and he would not. He came looking for me. He was pounding on the lady's door looking for me. He grabbed my key back out the hallway because I was here at that point, and he took my key from me. Because I don't care if I owe some money. You don't have a right. You don't have an agreement. You're going to stay at my apartment for a month or 2 months. I owe you some type of money.
So you came back on the 8th. Did at any point in time when you came back, did you immediately tell him to leave?
Not at first, no.
Okay, and then you're stating that when you came back on the 8th to your apartment, he was there and he told you to leave.
Yes, yes.
Was anybody there with him that day?
When he told me to leave, yes.
Who was there with him?
Some lady and his kid, I believe.
You said some lady what?
Some lady and his kid.
Some lady and kid was in his apartment, in your apartment?
Yeah, when I came back, yeah.
Okay.
And how long have you stayed in this apartment?
I've been there for about 8 months now, six to 8 months.
And 2 months prior to this incident, you guys were friends? You guys were hanging out with each other?
Yeah.
But 2 months prior, up to the 2 months prior of April 8th, you guys were considered friends, hanging out?
Prior to the 8th?
Yes.
Yeah, before the 8th, yeah.
So there were no incidents or anything before the 8th?
No,
When you came back to your apartment that day, was anybody with you?
no.
Did he grab the keys from you or did you give him the keys?
He grabbed a piece of me.
So you had them in your hand and you did not give them to him willingly?
What, the 8th? No.
Okay. So he took them from your hand.
The 8th, he made me give them to me in the hallway. He took them back from me when I took them.
I understand that words were said, but did he take them from you or did you give the keys to him? Nothing further.
I need some further because I'm very confused. Okay, so you've known him for only a couple months,
Yeah.
but you've lived there for about 8-9 months?
Somewhere around there, yes.
Okay. And somehow or somewhere in between those couple months, you incurred a debt to him?
Yes.
Do you owe him money?
Yes.
Why?
Your Honor,
It goes to his credibility.
okay, I just think there's gonna be an immunity issue. Yeah, can we approach, Your Honor?
Okay. So only known him for a couple months. He has an apartment there.
Yes.
Did someone else live in the apartment with you?
Nobody.
Nobody? You're the only person who lived there?
Yes.
Okay. You know his girlfriend?
Not really, no.
Not really, or yes or no?
I don't, yes.
You do know her,
Like, I don't know her name or nothing like that, no.
but you recognize the girl.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
She doesn't live with you?
No.
Okay. And so Based on your friendship, you were allowing him to just come hang out?
Yes.
Okay. And how many times has he hung out in your apartment prior to April 8th?
Just a couple times.
Which couple times? 2?
3 or 4 times for
3 or 4
hours.
times?
Yes.
Prior to April 8th?
Yes.
Okay. And some of those times you were not there?
One of the times.
Okay. So one time he was allowed to be in your apartment and you weren't there, so you gave him the key to get in?
Yes, the first time.
Why is he hanging out in your apartment versus his apartment? Do you know?
So you just hanging out here and there. That's it.
But he lives in the same building.
Yeah.
Like,
This
what?
one
What?
is
He
different.
likes your TV better, or
I don't know. No.
okay? But he just likes to be in your apartment over
Yeah.
yours. Oh, over his. Okay.
Well, I don't know. He's just visiting.
I'm sorry.
He's just visiting.
But how's he visiting if he's there and you're not there?
Yeah. It's true.
So what was?
The one time he was there, that was it. He had the permission that one time.
That's not my asking. I recognize.
was gone for a couple days. I had to leave and take care of some business.
I get that, but why would he need to be in your apartment if you're not there?
Because I owe the money. Yeah.
He needs to be in your apartment because you owe him money. Did he say that to you?
No.
Okay, so in your head, you decided that he needs to be there because you owe him money.
No.
So why did
Look,
he?
I'm just fucking scared right now. That's it. That's why. I didn't
Okay,
say
I'm not-
nothing more.
Well,
about
why
anything.
does he need to be? So you're going to be gone. He asked to be in your apartment while you're gone. Yes or no?
Yes.
And so you gave him the key,
Yes.
and you did that out of fear.
Kind of, sort of, yeah.
Well, it's either yes or no.
I'm just gonna say no.
Okay, so
I'm
you
already
weren't.
scared enough right now. Yeah.
Okay, so you weren't scared at that time.
Nope. Sure wasn't.
Okay, and so, but you knew you weren't going to be there.
Yes.
Did you ask him why he wanted to be there if you're not going to be there?
No.
Okay, and so then fast forward April 8th. When did he enter your apartment? It was on April 8th?
No.
When did he go into your apartment?
He was in my apartment for a few days while I was gone. I came back on the 8th.
Oh, so the time that you were gone, this is the same one time you allowed him to be there.
Yes.
Okay, then now it's not starting to make sense. So how long were you gone?
I think it was 4 days.
Okay, so maybe around April 4th, you left, he asked for the key, or did,
Yeah, well, I give him the key so I can lock the door.
oh, he
Well,
was already there, you were leaving. Is that what
Yeah,
happened?
yeah.
Okay, so you said I'm leaving, and you asked him to leave then?
On the 8th?
No, on the 4th.
No, I didn't ask him.
Oh,
No.
okay. And so you just gave him the key? That and went on to handle your business for 4 days?
Yeah.
And then you
I was in a medical facility is where I went to for 4 days.
okay. And so you return after 4 days,
On the 8th.
and now he's there with extra people.
Yes.
Okay. And did you ask him to leave then?
No, because I was scared.
Okay. However, this is when he was asleep?
Yes, I got into the apartment. Yeah.
How did you get in the apartment?
I had maintenance come let me in, the main maintenance.
Okay. And so you got
My door wasn't being answered.
got it. So you
And I
knocked on
had
the
the
door,
key.
nobody answered, he has the
Maintenance
key.
came,
Got
the
it.
guy came, let me in, and he was in there sleeping. I took my key back. So I was sleeping. I took off for to try to avoid all the situation.
Where was the key when you took it?
It was on a key fob. I mean a key.
Like hanging like a key?
Yeah, like a key hanging thing. Yeah.
Like on the wall?
No, like this, like a key thing.
No, I know what a key
Like
fob
this.
is, but where was
Like
it?
this.
Yeah, but where was
On
it?
my
physically?
island.
On the island.
Yeah.
Okay. In the kitchen?
Yes.
Okay. So you got your keys and then you left.
Yes.
And then you said he went looking for
He
you.
came looking for me, pounding on doors.
Okay. And then that's when you had an exchange. And then
He told me to give him the fucking key back, and that's when I was scared, so I gave him the key back. I went to my apartment probably about few minutes later, because I know what I was gonna do.
so you gave him the key?
Yeah, I was scared at that point when I gave him the key.
Got it.
I was
And
scared.
but then you went back into your apartment. Did he go with you?
I didn't go eventually right into my apartment. He had the key, and he ended up leaving.
But
And
the
I
door
had
was
to-
unlocked.
I had walking around, figure out. No, my door was not unlocked.
How did you get back in the apartment?
He answered the door.
He was in the apartment.
Listen, when he took the fucking key from me in the hallway,
Why are you swearing in my
because I'm
courtroom?
scared as hell right now.
Why?
Because
Why? You're talking to me. I'm asking you a question. You don't. I'm not. Did I swear at you?
okay,
Then
I
don't
wasn't.
swear-
I'm sorry. I was
Then don't
nervous.
swear at me.
I was nervous, sorry.
So he took the key back.
Yes. He
And
ended up
did,
going this way.
and then
I was
he
too
went-
scared, so I
did
avoided
he,
him.
did he,
went straight
don't
to
talk
the
over
apartment.
me. I'm asking questions because I'm trying to paint a picture. And when you were given 2 opportunities to answer questions, it didn't paint a clear enough picture for me.
Yes, ma'am.
So now I'm gonna direct the questions.
Yes, ma'am.
So you gave him your key back. Did he then go back to your apartment?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And so at some point later, not immediately, you then go to your apartment.
Yeah, I was walking around the hallways contemplating what I was going to do and how I was going to go about the situation I got myself into.
Okay.
So I went back to go to talk to him, and that's when he told me that that's when his son was there and that lady was there. He told me that basically asked me where his money was. And I told him that I didn't have it. You know, basically what I'm saying, I was basically prolonging the inevitable to him, you know, about money, owing money.
Okay.
Basically, because I lied and
Got it.
about them having more money.
Okay. So it's your belief he's hanging out in your apartment because you owe him money.
Yes,
Okay. And your belief is he's not going to leave until he gets the money.
that's what he told me.
That's what he told you?
He told me, pick me up on my apartment, so don't come back here about the money. Or me, my son, put you in a coma, and if you call up the cops, I'll kill you. That's exactly what he said.
Okay. Okay.
That word.
That's all questions I have. Okay. Any
I have
redirect?
I have one follow-up question, Your Honor. So when you go back into the apartment on the 8th and you get the key from the keychain, the
That
key
morning.
fob that's on
Yes.
the island, okay? When he takes that key back from you, do you physically hand it to him, or does he take it off of your person?
I handed it to him because I was scared because I could see the look in his eye when he asked me for the
Okay,
key.
and what did he say when he asked
He
you?
said, "Where's the fucking key at?" Exactly how he said it.
Okay. And was this before or after the threat to put you in a coma?
That was right before.
Okay.
It was a little
So
before.
it was okay, got it. So that was all
Yeah, 'cause I
about
was
the
walking
same
around and
exchange.
yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
I'm gonna have her redirect or recross because of my series of questions, but I just have one more question. When you had whatever transaction led to you owing him money, was there, and I think that's what I asked, what she asked about, was there an agreement as to when you would pay him back?
As far as him staying in my apartment, as far as certain amount.
No, what was the
Yeah.
agreement? There was an
The
agreement?
agreement that I was going to be paying him some money that I owed him, yes, ma'am.
When?
And I couldn't pay it back. It was supposed to be a few days after.
Okay, and then you didn't pay it back,
I didn't pay it back.
and you all had another conversation after that? Maybe about where the money was?
I just told him that I didn't have any money because I lied all about having money.
I get it. Was there ever an agreement that he could stay in your place until you got the money?
No,
Okay, cross exam.
Why did you owe him money?
Objection, Your Honor. This would be an immunity issue, so we would want the victim here to have an attorney.
Do you want me to adjourn this so that you can get him an attorney?
Yes.
We can
That's
do
what
that.
we're gonna have to do.
Any other redirect other than that? Or do you want to wait?
I
until
think
you-
it's probably gonna have to be that.
Sounds good. Okay, we'll adjourn it. We'll resubpoena him so that he can be counseled by an attorney. I'm assuming he's gonna request a court-appointed attorney, which means he'll probably need conflict counsel, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
I'm sorry? Well, it's up to them if they want to have an attorney or have him testify without an attorney, or he's gonna have to have an attorney so he can be counseled as to the immunity is my assumption. And they can enter an immunity agreement. I don't know how long it's gonna take you to do that. Do you know how long?
I would say at least 3 to 4 weeks, Your Honor, just so we can get conflict counsel, because I know that takes a little bit of time. And I apologize for the record, Bart Buxton on behalf of people.
Thank you.
You do June 27th at 9:30.
June 27th at 9:30.
Your Honor?
Yes.
Is there any way that we could do a continuance as opposed to an adjournment? We do have another witness here who can testify, that wouldn't be impacted at all about this.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So, we're continuing his testimony until
Yes,
then.
Your Honor.
Correct. We can continue.
Okay.
You're all set for today. You'll be resubpoenaed to be back here June 27th,
Yes, ma'am.
okay? Thank you. Also, there's a sequestration order, so you can't talk about any of your testimony
Okay.
with any other witness.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep.
Wanda Weber.
Downstairs.
I sent him.
The people will be calling Wanda Weber, Your Honor.
Thank you. Name the witness again.
Wanda Weber.
Okay. You're Miss Wanda Weber?
Yes.
You can stand and raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're going to give us the truth and the whole truth under penalty of perjury? You can have a seat. Okay, so there is a microphone that is right there in front of you, and the purpose of that microphone is so the lady behind you can take down everything on a recorded record as to what you're stating here. But it does not amplify your voice, so I need you to have your voice loud and clear because of the temperature. We have about 3 fans running in this courtroom, okay?
Okay.
And then this kind of drowns out sound sometimes. So if there's a question, that calls for a yes or no, you will answer yes or no. You can't do head nods, head shakes, or mm-hms, uh-huhs, because we can't articulate that in the record. Otherwise, you'll just hear us ask you if that's a yes or a no, okay?
Okay.
And then if there's an objection, you'll stop speaking. That means I have to make a ruling on the objection, and then I will, based on the evidence rules, tell you if you can give us that answer or not, okay?
Okay.
State your first and last name and spell both.
My name is Wanda Weber, WandaWeber.
All right. Good morning or afternoon or whatever time it is.
Still morning for 11
It's
minutes.
still morning, Miss Weber. Can you tell us what you do for work?
I'm the property manager.
Okay, and what address are you?
48910.
Okay, great. And is that in Ingham County as well?
Yeah.
Okay. Great. And do you recall the date of April 8th, 2025? Do you recall anything significant occurring on that date?
I do.
Okay. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
I was coming into work and I saw somebody standing outside acting a little disoriented. Wasn't quite sure who it was. Don't recall ever seeing that person. It ended up being Jeremy Johnson.
And did he live in that building?
Yes, he did.
Okay, and how did you find that information out?
Well, when he was acting disoriented, I kind of asked him who he was, told him who I was, and asked if he lived there. He said yes.
Objection, hearsay?
You want to respond to the objection?
Yes, Your Honor. I would argue that this was that this would be an excited utterance. She already testified that he was disoriented.
Okay. I guess if I consider the totality of the circumstances, I'll accept it. Oh, objection to the rule.
So you asked him if he lived there?
He said yes. I asked if he needed to be let in because he didn't have a key.
Okay.
He said yes. So then we walked in behind me. He asked if he could speak to me. And I said yes. And at that point, he
Objection, Judge. I think this was beyond the excited utterance.
Okay. Well, she can testify. I agree. She can testify to what she did without telling us what he said.
Sure.
based on the communication from him to me, I called 911.
Okay. And what did you tell 911?
I told 911, I believe, that I had a resident that was indicating somebody had taken his key fob from-
Objection, calls for hearsay.
Your Honor, I'd argue, I'm sorry.
You can respond.
I'd argue that this would be present sense impression describing the situation that was happening at the time.
Stop being offered for the truth of the matter, sir. So the objection to the rule.
That. Okay, proceed. What did you tell 911?
what he had shared with me, that somebody had taken his key, he had been doing drugs, that he owed somebody $200, and they wouldn't let him back in his apartment. And so that's what I remember at this point.
Okay, and can you describe his demeanor?
Nervous, afraid, really
Okay.
worried.
Okay. And was he able to get back into his apartment, do you know? Was that the end of your interaction?
No, not at that point. He was not. We had to wait for the police to come.
Okay, and did you do anything further after the police arrived, or did the police take it from there?
The police took it from there. We watched on the camera.
Okay, and are you familiar at all with the defendant in this case?
Yes, I am.
Okay, and how do you know him?
Just saw that he's a resident there. I don't know him personally, but just that he's one of my residents.
Okay, and he's not a resident of this apartment that Jeremy was trying to
Not
get
in the
into.
same apartment, no.
Okay, perfect. So
He's-
totally different apartment.
Correct. He's one of my tenants. They're both one of my tenants, but in different apartments on different floors.
Got it. Thank you. Nothing further at this time, Your Honor.
You stated that when you called 911, that Mr. Johnson reported that he was doing drugs.
Not at that moment, no, that he had in the past and that he owed somebody money for drugs.
You said he appeared worried and disheveled. Can you elaborate on that?
I didn't use the word disheveled. He appeared worried and nervous. That's all. He feared for his life, were his exact words.
Was he sweating?
No,
Did he have any sort of slurred speech?
no.
All right. And as the apartment manager, do you have camera surveillance throughout the complex?
We have 99 cameras with 300 views.
So would that mean that all floors and the outside of all apartments would be covered?
For the most part, yes.
I don't have any further questions.
You're right.
Nothing further, people, Your Honor.
Okay, Ms. Weber, there was a sequestration order, so that simply means you're not allowed to discuss any portions of your testimony with any other witness, okay? You're free to go. Thank you. Thank you.
Any other witnesses?
No other witnesses at this time, Your Honor.
We will continue to the June 27th date at 9:30.
Thank you.
The bar will continue. There is a no contact order. You're not to have contact directly or indirectly with Jeremy Johnson. Do you understand that? Okay.
Your Honor, it has come to the people's attention that there has been some witness intimidation issues with both witnesses in this case, so the people just want to bring that to the court's attention.
When you say both witnesses, you mean including Ms. Weber?
Yes, Your Honor.
Like what kind of issues? With Ms. Weber at least.
Threats not to testify.
The witness that just left here
Yes, Your Honor.
as alleging threats against her from this defendant?
Or a third party contact with the defendant.
Got it. Okay. And is there gonna be a police report issued and?
There is not, Your Honor. People just wanted to bring it to the court's attention.
Okay. All right, so. Mr. Anderson. This is a peculiar situation only in the effect that you live in the same property that the alleged victim lives in. And then obviously the other witness is the property manager. Which means that would be someone that you would likely need to interact with because you live there. You have a maintenance request or rent issue, whatever, you would have to interact with the property manager. So you're not listening, you're trying to respond. And so sorry?
I said, I hear you.
No, I didn't ask you, did you hear? I asked you to listen because there's a difference. Okay, and so you are not allowed to have any contact with Jeremy Johnson directly or indirectly. That's through a third party or any other mechanism. You can't write a letter. No forms of communication between the two of you. And it looks like it says that you were supposed to be within 2,000 feet. I don't know how they figured that out, how that works. And you're on GPS tether. I don't know how in the world that's working because I've not gotten a single notification that you've been at this address. So we'll look into that because obviously you all live at the same address. Yeah, but the issue, that might be why. You're staying on Davison during this time. Is that correct? That makes sense. Okay. The issue though is that you still hold a lease at the, yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. And so it would be really dumb for you to threaten or allow someone else to threaten your property manager unless you want an eviction. Don't you think? On your record. Do you think you want to deal with this and be homeless?
I'm already about to be homeless, so I don't want to deal with none of this. To tell you the truth.
I can imagine. Do you want to be sitting in jail while we deal with all of this? Is that a yes or a no?
No, I don't want to be sitting.
Okay, because if I get one more murmuring that there has been some calls to anybody related or connected to this case, that they're being threatened not to appear in court, I can only assume that the only person who would care whether or not they appear in court would be you or someone connected to you. And so I will have to put you in jail or revoke your bond and put you in jail pending a hearing. And then at that hearing, if I find that you are responsible for any threats made to anybody connected to this case, then you're subject to 93 days in jail for violation of the court order. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Okay, so it'll be stupid. Are you stupid? Okay, so then I expect you to act like you're not. And so I expect you to follow the court order. I've not had any violations that you've been at the area, even though you have apartment there. So it seems like you're compliant in that regard. My hopes is that you would remain compliant and that there won't be any further murmurings of violations of the no contact order or potential witness intimidation threats. You understand that? Okay. Do you have any questions about the order?
No, not about one.
What do you have a question about?
I'm like, how was,
Is it about the case?
yeah,
Okay, well, you ask your attorney about the case. They give their testimony. The court makes a determination about whether or not they believe that testimony is credible or if the testimony amounts to the elements that needs to be met for a probable cause standard. So you don't need to worry about that. You will talk to your attorney about whether or not you're going to call witnesses to rebut whatever they testify, and including whether or not you're going to waive your right to silence to testify. But that's up to you and your attorney, okay? Okay, so they're still presenting their case at this point. That's your next court date. Bond will continue, 5,000 personal recognizance. There's a GPS tether and a no contact order protecting the alleged victim. Any additional matters?
Not on behalf of the people, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor, thank you.
You're all set. Thank you.
Be safe, be well, sleep sweet, and much love.